Well, hi there. Happy Friday. As promised, let's continue our Q&A regarding the RNC and its decision to dump NBC from its next debate because of no TLC from CNBC, which shouldn't be confused with MSNBC or the old WNBC radio. LOL. To get things started, let's share what some feel was the line of the night from whom some feel was the winner of the night. Marco Rubio, waxing poetic about what he feels, or whom he feels, is Hillary Clinton's most fervent supporter.
You know, the Democrats have the ultimate super PAC. It's called the mainstream media, who every single day, and I'll tell you why. Last week, Hillary Clinton went before a committee. She admitted she had sent emails to her family saying, hey, this attack in Benghazi was caused by al-Qaeda-like elements. She spent over a week telling the families of those victims and the American people that it was because of a video. And yet the mainstream media is going around saying it was the greatest week in Hillary Clinton's campaign. It was the week she got exposed as a liar.
Okay, I've never been one to use the term mainstream media or liberal mainstream media anywhere, here on TV or in my columns. Here's why. It's a beaten down term, and it's used so often that sometimes the impact gets lost. But Wednesday night wasn't one of those times where Republicans and conservative media were whining without warrant for being treated differently from their Democratic counterparts. They were treated differently, blatantly. Because look at this recent study from the Conservative Media Research Center, which shows 65%, 2 in 3, of the 43 questions that were asked were negative, with negative being defined as those with personal insults or attacks, such as John Harwood's question to Donald Trump asking if he was a, quote, comic book version of a presidential campaign. So here's your question. Since every network can't be boycotted, what can the GOP do moving forward to avoid this kind of situation again?
Well, I got to ask a question first.
Yes.
You can't say that they're being treated differently than Democrats by putting up that study and not doing a comparison to how negative the questions were in the Democratic debate. What was that?
Do you think that just by, on the surface,
know.
Did anybody say that Anderson Cooper was really mean to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders?
Anderson Cooper did a great job, but you got to have both
Look
sides
at the donations, though, from left. I mean, do you honestly think that every major media organization is composed of a 50-50 balance between Democrats and Republicans? No, your ideological kindred spirits have won. They have the media. You don't even need to say leftist media. It's just the media.
You can't cite a study on one side without making a comparison.
I understand, but there wasn't one complaint about the Democratic debate in terms of being too negative.
But more important,
but to your point, right. All right, I'm conceding something. Context is everything, and perhaps a number should have come up. But I would venture to say that a majority of questions weren't deemed negative as personal attacks.
The more important point is Marco Rubio is absolutely full of it. He ought to be using some of that time when he's not going to work in the Senate to actually read newspapers, because he would find out that the Washington Post, the New York Times, the most liberal of liberal media, has been beating the you-know-what out of Hillary Clinton since she decided to run for president. Now, you can say that they're nice to the president, you can say they're nice to Bernie Sanders, but they have not given Hillary Clinton any breaks.
I'm going to take the rest of the segment off, and I'm just going to give it to Gail. She turned the same color as her dress when she was listening to you.
I did, and I think the media has given Hillary Clinton a warm kiss and just wants to continue to go forward, bolstering her career, because they feel like she's the inevitable candidate, and this is her time. But I think would be criminally a problem if any woman voted for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman.
Oh, I agree.
And I think that the media is continuing to try and resurrect this war on women meme, and they are being very successful at it. That was her worst week ever with the Benghazi hearing, because she was shown, as Marco Rubio said, as being a congenital liar, as even the Washington Post liberal commentator
Rick thinks
Bill
it was her best week ever.
I disagree.
Well, then look at the polls, and we won't have to have the argument.
History will tell.
Yeah, she's going to be fine.
Does anybody answer my question, by the way?
What was the question?
Yeah, let me reread it again. Since every network can't be boycotted, what can the GOP do moving forward to avoid this sort of situation? I offered up quickly, and Brick had to go to break, that, like, for instance, when NBC does a debate, I don't want 5 monitors, 6 people. I want 1. And in NBC's case, if I were running the RNC, I'd say put Lester Holt in there. I think he's a fair guy.
Oh, that was your point.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think obviously if you can also advocate for some kind of balance. I mean, CNBC has reporters that are not John Harwood on their team as well. But I mean, honestly, from my point of view, in a perverse sense, it's kind of good when you have a panel like that of moderators asking the questions, because all the Republicans were able to turn it around and turn the crowd and everyone else against the media. And there's something positive about that. And I think you saw, actually, how politically shrewd some of the candidates were, including Rubio, Cruz, Christie.
I think it was positive in terms of red meat for the audience and for staunch conservatives, but we got nothing in terms of...
I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but how do we learn anything from their being able... How is that positive?
Well, we have something called the internet now, and you can go on their websites and see what their policy
how many people are doing that, though, right?
Nobody does.
The remaining debates, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, Fox, and CNN, those are your remaining people, and they've done a fair job.
Newsmax.
And Newsmax, probably, that's right. So are you interested in being on the Daily Wrap? Interesting. You can go to newsmaxtv.com/talkback. There you'll find instructions on how to submit questions or comments on video to us. And if worthy, we'll play them on the air. How cool is that? More DW and a little more than 2 and 2.